Hello guys, Minecraft Anime Girl here, and today I'm playing Everlasting Summer again. We're going to continue on from where we went from last time. We're going to load that game up. I think this is where we stopped. I closed my eyes for just a moment, and then... Oh, such pretty snowflakes. All the little animations, the cutscenes. So you guys can hear me eating. It's the middle of the day. This will likely be put up as soon as I'm done recording it. It's raining outside. What? Whoa. I don't read Russian, sorry. I like this CCP shirt. Now the game really starts. Well, visual novel, but I'm a gaming channel, so I have to have this as a game. Day 1. Bright daylight struck my eyes. They changed little things from ice to leaves. At first I didn't pay attention as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn, it was like I fell asleep and missed my stomp. But there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn out LIAZ. Instead, it was a good. It wasn't a good old worn out LIAZ. Instead, the bus was a Lucaria Smile model, a new one. Sorry, I just had a bad reading. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, and banged my forehead on the back of the bus seats. It's clear, either I'm still alive, or you can feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then, what? Did they put me on a different bus? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery. Wherever I looked, a tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer. Wait a fucking second. I was in the winter time. But it was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if I was going to explode. Do you want to explode? Slowly, I began to remember. So pretty, and it sounds like we are gonna explode. Whoa. A long road running off in the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. And then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt a little warmth all over coming from inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her, and the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, and then to the right, and then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I came from the direction which the buses probably came. I ran, sorry. Such a pretty landscape. Absolutely beautiful game so far. I keep saying game, but it's a visual novel, but I like to call visual novels games. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind, thoughts become clearer, and it becomes easier to evaluate surroundings. Not in my case, however. I was just sitting on the roadside, wheezing, trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. Walking. In any case, the run did its job. Fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road through the field ran far into the distance. That exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. It was just winter yesterday, and now it's summer. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from paintings of Russian landscape artists from the 19th century. The grass is a little too lush. The bushes are not what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them. Like treetops, honestly. 1 second. And the trees themselves, the forests were quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance on the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. It was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people. But what does it mean? In fact, it means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines in hell? Roasting center over hot coals is so last century. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should just lose your mind completely, or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I picked the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course, it was scary. I'm not likely to find answers in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only link I have with the real world. Sorry, I don't speak Russian, otherwise I'd help you. I should carefully scout the area. Savoynik means owl. A brick wall and gates crown the Savoynik sign. Statues of pioneers standing on each side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriate in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place definitely looked abandoned. It didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage on the walls. Savoynik. What could have a name like that? Judging from the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simple explanation, logically, means nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, the summer pioneer camps. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep from hallucinations in time and spaceships. Nothing worse than the other. There's no way to pick a single one. It occurred to me I could try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contacts list. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright. There may not be no signal in these remote areas. Sorry, my southern accent creeps through. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. Bet. Wait till you see Tesla's bus. Examine the bus from all sides, making sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, rust here and there, faded paint, wore-out tires. No, this is a very different Lucarius. I'm reading it like Lucario because, fuck you, pay me. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus that takes you places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself, sporadically, because this wasn't the right place to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb and waited for the bus and started waiting. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to slightly go mad. Me too. I need another drink. Apple juice. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were really things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. Dang, my guy's not very optimistic. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? One of my friends is playing 7 Days to Die. Tears were burning in my eyes. Unbearably, I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of pioneers and the birds on the trees, which immediately flapped his wings and took off. Go away. Crying out something in its own burnt language, as if it was laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its afternoon nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror of fear and fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all of this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If it's just some kind of crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now it seems there's no danger at all. Panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding my temples and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there was nothing that I could really change anyway. No matter how much I think or how mad I will get, I would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there's no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging here. The camp, if of course it really is a camp, is the only place where people could be. I decided to go there. And hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in this 21st century. And then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place. Far from this bus, the gates, the statue, far away from this bloody bird and its siesta. An afternoon nap. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster. Waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray and turning into vastological radiation. Running to face the unknown. Running, no matter where. As long as it was far away from this place. Damn, he wants to go. He's trying to dash. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiles. Fear. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts worked independent of consciousness, while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes. The other 95 were busy for sustaining life, ensuring stable function of the hormones, and in particular, in hormone systems. I'm bad. I desperately wanted to get less complicated, started thinking about formal quotes from an encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one being stupid, out of place, as if it's been taken from an internal monologue of a hero in some junky softcore crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of hay, two blue eyes that you could drown in. You must have just arrived. I haven't come up with a voice for her. Am I just gonna not reply? No, I'm gonna reply, see what kind of dumb shit I can make up. Yeah. Alright then. Welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange. It looks like if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Why is he surprised? I should have returned here. The woods, the fields seem better. I shouldn't have returned here. But what should I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was human, or run away, or what? The blood pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the contents of my skull. He's just trying to explode at this point. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees were trembling. Nothing. Great then. Great, what's so great about that? I'll come up with the voices after I hear their names. Suddenly, a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me. The fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept all this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to her. You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look. You go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. And before anybody asks, I cannot do a Russian accent. Don't ask for one. She pointed at the gates, as if I knew what was behind them. What the fuck? Dimitrivna is a patronymic derivative from the person's father's name, in this case, Dmitri, put by the Russians after a person's first name is assigned as respect or a formal address. You can ask someone where Olga Dmitrievna's cabin is. See. Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I gotta go. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. All this showed with the bus and the travels and awake and sleep. Everything is just the way it's supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What are they doing? A historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing up on top of an armored car in the square. That'd be funny. That would be hilarious. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. The sign near the door said clubs. I was about to come closer. Surprise. Purple hair girl. A short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Her pretty face gave me the impression of one suffering from the fate of the whole mankind with a true universal sorrow. Damn, he's got some philosophical stuff on him. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was best to do. To approach first and wait until she showed initiative. Or maybe just run away after all. Although this is the last option, considering consistently being suggested to my self-preservation. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, at least in their semblance, were hitting me. That there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Somebody jumped out of nearby bushes. A girl wearing a bright red shirt with USSR written on it. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from the distance and was probably younger than both pioneer girls, the one at the gate and the one at the door of the clubs. At least I decided to come closer. I decided to come closer, but USSR, as I called, hurried my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started yelling something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would probably continue to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. That something turned out to be a grasshopper. E. The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, but she instantly rushed off towards the place where Lenin personally made a speech about workers and the peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. The USSR glanced at me, grinning playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I have absolutely no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids role-playing here as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers from home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed reality. A reality. I mean, everything around me, it seems so real. I'm in fact thinking my previous life could have just been a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? I was picking at the cracks on paving with my shoe and staring aimlessly at the club's buildings. Sorry about that. I just had to adjust my microphone. A few more seconds before I had to come up with some decision. That's whenever I recalled myself rolling in the grass weeping. I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy from whimpering and self-pity is used up, the body goes into hibernation or mobilizes itself into reserves. Let me check the time. 25 minutes, I'll go to 30. Mine seems to have chosen the second option because out of the blue I found a different determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that, I had to act like a man. I was like a human to maintain the dignity and representative of my own worlds. I followed the path to the left. On the right side stood small cabins, apparently the homes of local pioneers. Actually, they look quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I was never part of any of its children organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagine the daily life of a typical pioneer camp being a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks, wake-up call at 6 o'clock, played by sirens, 1 minute to make your bed, then joining the formation of the drill square. Or wait, could I be confusing it with something else? Suddenly, something struck me in the back. I staggered, but but remained on my feet, turned around, prepared to fight heroically for my life. But all I found was another girl standing before me. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked, let's say, provocative. Like all the other girls I'd met before, this one was rather cute, or overly arrogant, or her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine, see ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer to turn the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to. The most interesting thing that even the hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give off the feeling of some deadly danger. Except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At least I managed to make it to the square. There was no linen in an armored car, although one could expect something after what all this had happened. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters on the pedestal read Genda. Must be some big figure in the party. There were some small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where'd that girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left or to the right? To the left or to the right? Why am I going there anyways? Alright, I've decided to pretend to be normal. So to the right. I came out to a pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey, wrong way. I turned towards the voice. The first girl said before me. Now where did I tell you? Take a left at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from pioneer form into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name is Slavia. Actually, my full name's Slaviana, but everyone calls me Slavia. So you can too. I'll come up with a voice for in between episodes, okay? Yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could come up with more meaningful answers. So what's your name? I felt like she could reach right through me. Semyon. I'm gonna call him Simon. Nice to meet you, Simon. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here for a minute? I'm gonna go change and we'll go to Olga Dmitrievna. Together, agreed? Agreed. After the exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots. In such weather, there was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself down a bit. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that had happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, if it's a weird one, even too friendly at times, it looks more than just like a random event. Something entirely incomprehensible. Some incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? She was standing there in her dress in a pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I'll call it an episode here.